In this video, we'll go over all of the new cards announced from the past week and try to compress it into a bite-sized video. Destroymare Iblee, I think that's how you say it. This card allows you to special summon a link monster that can point to it from the graveyard, but its effects are negated and its attack becomes 0. Also, you can only link summon while this card is out, and it goes to your opponent's field when it's sent to the graveyard. So yeah, its first effect of special summoning a link monster from the graveyard is pretty nice, and even its drawback of going to your opponent's side of the field does lock them out of special summoning besides link summoning, which isn't half bad, I guess. But traditionally, cards who can revive other monsters are usually pretty good. FA City Grand Prix, a new FA field spell card. This one is just a straight boost to the levels of FA cards during your main phase and battle phases, and allows you to search a card on its destruction. Both of these effects are good. FA Test Run is a new quick play spell card for the archetype, which allows you to change one of your FA monster's battle positions to destroy a card on the field. Its second effect allows you to banish it from the graveyard to destroy one card you control to search out an FA monster. Both of these effects are really good. Destroying cards on your opponent's turn, plus, if you use this card's second effect to destroy the field spell card I talked about previously to this one, you get to search out 2 cards, and increase the levels of your FA monsters on the field due to it counting as an FA spell effect going off. I can't see a reason FA players wouldn't run 3 copies of this at all times. Troymare Goblin, a new Link 2 monster who simply requires 2 monsters of different names as its materials, which is pretty easy to accomplish for most decks, so it's splashable and nearly generic. Its first effect allows you to discard a card to gain a double summon effect for the turn, but only if the monster is summoned into one of its link markers. Also, if this card was co-linked when you activated the effect, you get to draw a card. Now, double summon effects are good, but the restriction of a discard cost plus using one of its link markers kind of hampers it a bit. But if you can also get off the draw one card effect, it just turns into a cycle card to set up your graveyard instead, and it's much more tolerable. Its second effect is just that co-linked monsters cannot be targeted by card effects, which is really good protection to have. Troymare Mermaid, a new Link 1 monster, which is always fun since there aren't too many of those. Simply requires a Troymare card as its material, besides another copy of itself. Its first effect is when it's link summoned, you can discard a card to summon 1 Troymare monster from your deck. Plus, if it was co-linked when activated, you can also draw a card. This effect is amazing and will more than likely be the key play to Troymare decks in the future, once more cards come out for it. Also, its second effect is just that all monsters on the field who are not co-linked lose 1,000 attack and defense. That's a pretty hefty negative effect to put out on the field, especially since most normal decks can't co-link easily. Troymare Gryphon, who looks to be the boss monster of the Troymare cards, is a Link 4 monster who requires 2+ monsters with different names. When Link summoned, you can discard a card to set a spell or trap card from your grave, but it cannot be activated during that turn, and also, you can draw a card if it was co-linked on summon. Recycling spell and traps from the graveyard is usually an effect tied to high restrictions, so attaching it to the Link 4 monster of the archetype sounds appropriate. So far, all of the Troymare effects are really good. Really trying to justify that discard cost. Also, its second effect is monsters who are special summoned cannot activate their effects unless they are linked to a link monster, which is a pretty nice lockdown restriction. Troymare Unicorn, a Link 3 monster with requirements of 2+ monsters with different names. Its summoning effect is to discard 1 card to return a card in the field to the deck, and to draw a card if co-linked on summon. This is basically just a Castell effect, which is really good. Expect to see this card ran in all kinds of decks from now on and not just Troymare. Also, its second effect is that you can draw cards during your draw phase equal to the number of co-linked Troymare monsters with different names on the field. Seeing as you have to wait a turn to get this effect off, your opponent has time to try and counterplay it, but generally, drawing more cards is always good, if not some of the best things effects can have you do. So yeah, Unicorn is an amazing card. I feel like I've been saying that about all the Troymare cards so far, but that's just how good these effects are. This archetype might be one of the new Tier 1 decks. Troymare Phoenix, a Link 2 Troymare with the same requirements as all the others, 2 monsters with different names. Its summoning effect is to discard 1 card to pop a spell or trap card your opponent controls, and to draw a card if co-linked when summoned. With this good effect, and high attack for a Link 2 monster of 1900, expect to see this card a lot. Its second effect is just that co-linked monsters cannot be destroyed by battle, which is pretty neat too. Troymare Cerberus, another Link 2 Troymare with the same material requirements of 2 monsters of different names. Its effect on summon is to discard a card to destroy a special summon monster your opponent controls that's in the main monster zone. Also to draw a card if co-linked on summon. Generally, monster destruction effects are good, even if kinda restrictive like this one. Also, its second effect is co-linked monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects, which is neat too. If you have a brigade of Troymare cards co-linked, they can't be destroyed by battle, card effects, be targeted, and limit your opponent's card effects and attack points, which is a pretty good lock to have, in addition to their good summoning effects and generic materials to summon. World Legacy World Spear. This level 8 beat stick has 3 effects. The first being a hand trap effect of, if a battle is occurring that involves a Link monster, you can discard this card to lower the attack of your opponent's card by 3000. Which means if you have a Link monster and attack into something, you can activate it. And if your opponent has a Link monster, you can attack into it to also use this card, or vice versa. Honestly, pretty good generic hand trap effect with how almost every deck uses Link monsters. Its next 2 effects only apply if it's on the field. Your opponent cannot target other World Legacy monsters for attacks, and if a monster is special summoned from the extra deck, you can special summon a token to both sides of the field, which can only be done once per turn. The token effect isn't half bad, or wouldn't be if it didn't also give your opponent one as well. Resistance against the World Legacy. A trap card that allows you to destroy spell and trap cards on the field up to the number of co-linked monsters on the field, which isn't very good. Most likely just a pack filler. Twin Twister and Heavy Storm Duster are just so much better, as they can accomplish a similar task for a lot less setup or restriction. Okay, and since there were just so many cards released or announced in the past week, I'm just gonna end it there for now, and maybe make another video tomorrow going over some of the other ones, just because there is way too many to put into one bite-size news video. I only covered not even a quarter of the cards that were released so far today. Maybe a quarter exactly. There's just so many more. So, yeah, that's it for this video.